Our world tours brought us to the other side of the planet.
To celebrate Australia's biggest automotive rivalry, Ford versus Holden.
By trying to add enough horsepower to this 2005 XR8...
Oh, absolutely love it.
...to beat its more powerful rival over a quarter mile on Mount Panorama's famous Conrod Straight.
It's a race against time.
Jace, might need that big lever bar again, mate.
Oh, now you want it, yeah.
I always said the big ones are the best.
It's our last day in the workshop, and I've made the bold decision to replace our existing exhaust system.
We are almost. How much further has it got to come? Mate? Yeah, because it's hard up against that wheel well. That's the issue.
That's if Jason and I can ever get it off.
Keep twisting.
It's like trying to wrestle a very heavy octopus. There we go. There we go.
Whilst Kylie and Jason get to grips with that.
My goodness. Do they need to make them that big and heavy?
I've popped down to the local parts store to pick us up some new brakes.
Morning, everyone.
G'day, mate. How you going?
I'm all right. How are you? I'm Mike.
G'day, Mike.
With all that extra horsepower we've added to our XR8, we need to make sure it's going to stop. But before I can drop the brakes back to Elvis, I've spotted a couple of local beauties in the car park. I've noticed the fella standing next to the Ford over there. I wonder if it's ease.
All right, mate. So, wait. How you doing?
Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm all right. My name's Mike.
Michael, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Is this yours?
It is.
What a thing. I mean, that is it's a beast, isn't it?
No, it's a 1971 Ford XY GT. Yeah, very sought-after car in Australia.
It's fantastic. So this would be one of the cars that was actually in a rival with that Tirana that
100%, yeah.
So in terms of the drivers, on the Tirana there was Brock, wasn't
That's
he?
Peter Brock, raced that to 9. He won in all different Holdens. He won 9 times at the Bathurst 1000. So, yeah, very accomplished driver.
When Holden's Peter Brock and Ford's Alan Moffat made their Bathurst 1000 debuts in 1969, it took the rivalry between the manufacturers and their fans to a whole new level. As the media pitted the laid-back, charming, all-Aussie hero Brock against the stern, hard-working, Canadian-born villain Moffat, sounds a bit like me and Elvis.
There was just always a rivalry that's divided families. There was fights on the mountain. There was just, yeah, just if you were a Holden person or a Ford person, you didn't talk.
You are so devoted to either Ford or Holden. You'd be having fights up there in the hills.
Oh, 100%, yeah. No, as I said, went on for a long time and still does.
Ultimately, Peter Brock and Holden claim victory more often than Ford. To date, he holds the most wins at the Bathurst 1000, earning him the nickname King of the Mountain.
I can see you're on your way out.
Yep.
Is there any chance you're going to fire it up anyway?
Yeah.
Is there any chance I can hear it?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah, it'd be great if I could look under the bonnet as well. Yeah. Well, that sounds absolutely glorious. And it looks so clean.
Oh, yeah.
So you've done a full restoration under here as well?
Yeah, she's a brand new 50-year-old car.
Listen, thank you so much for showing me around it. It's really nice. And finding out a little bit more about Bathurst. I can't wait to get up there and try the circuit for myself now. It's going to be really exciting.
You'll love it.
Super. Thank you,
worries.
Michael.
Thanks, mate.
Safe journey.
Oh, good.
All
Thanks,
right.
Mike.
Cheers, mate.
Back at the workshop, we've finally got the old exhaust off, and our brand new custom-designed one has arrived, and it looks tastier than a Vegemite sandwich. With all the work we've done up on the top of the engine, we're trying to push it harder to get more performance out of it. Now, that's only any good if we really maximise the efficiencies of that by getting more air in, which we've done with the air intake kit, and then those spent exhaust gases out in a much more efficient manner. To aid that, we've gone for larger diameter pipe. If you compare it to the old one, this one's bigger. That's literally a bigger bore for those gases to flow through. But also, if you compare these two sections, you can clearly see the angles that this pipe goes through are far less acute. That means a much clearer path for the gases to flow down, and it should be more efficient in doing so. Now, we've got 2 silencers or mufflers in the same places, but on the new exhaust, they're smaller. And that means there are less baffles, less restriction for the gases to come up against. This will help reduce excessive back pressure, a phenomenon that can restrict the amount of fuel and air the engine can suck in with each cycle. I think Mike gets a similar thing after he's eaten Indian food.
I'm hoping this might be a little bit easier to go back in than the other one came out, because this is a single pipe at this end rather than a twin.
This beauty's taken a substantial bite out of our budget at $1,300, but it'll help draw out the additional horsepower from the other upgrades, as well as making it sound irresistible to any potential buyers.
These things are really awkward because they're heavy. You have to go through spaces that aren't really big enough for them. And then you try and, on top of that, to balance a tiny little gasket over two little studs or bolts in really awkward positions. And there we go. That is pretty much in position. Time to get some nuts on it.
That's the last part of the power upgrade kit now on the car, which means I can now fit Mike's new brakes.
The stopping power of this car should now match its uprated performance. And having had a quick look at the ones that have come off, there's a little bit of bluing on these discs, which would suggest at some point in their lives they may have been overheated. Now, if that was extreme, it could even get to the point of boiling the fluid, introducing water in there, and that, for a braking system, is bad. So I'm going to get Jason to give me a hand to change the fluid and bleed the brakes. Jace?
Yeah, mate.
That one's open.
Beautiful, pumping.
Here it comes.
Got a firm pedal back, it feels good.
Perfect. Nice one.
No worries, mate.
Right, that really is it. I've done everything I can with the budget I've got to turn this into an absolute Holden beater. The next step is to take it to the dyno and see what we can do there to get even more out of it. Fingers crossed.
But first, let's hear what that new exhaust sounds like.
Sweeter than an ice cream covered didgeridoo. Yes!
Don't do that.
We are technically just warming up the rear tyres for traction.
Quit your hooning around. I've found us the perfect engine tuning shop on the other side of town.
We're in the right place. Look at the cars. Proper race shop.
The only small snag, it's in Holden territory, so this might be the last you see of us.
Yeah, it's the guys.
I love the look of this
Hey,
place.
guys.
Are you Chris?
I am. I'm Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you.
Chris, we've spoken on the phone, mate. How are you?
Perfect. Elvis.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
So, Chris, proper race shop. You're just about to point at that blue oval
What's this
bag.
doing in my
I
shop?
was just about to say that. I was just about to say, I've got a funny feeling I'm in Holden territory.
Shop, mate. Yeah.
Except for that Ford right there.
It's a proper race car, that one.
How are you with us being here with our Ford?
Look, because it's you, it's fine, but
The problem we've got is we have targeted a quarter-mile drag strip on the Conrod Straight at Bathurst.
Yep.
We're going to go up against a GTS, and the guy has already breathed on it with an exhaust system. So you're
It's going to be a stretch. Yeah, we can shoot for the stars for sure, yeah.
And no stitching this up because it's a Ford, right?
Yeah.
We want this one to win.
I wouldn't do that to you. No.
Right, take us to your dyno. No.
OK, the dyno's just down here. I'll bring the car down and we'll throw it on. Perfect.
Nice one, mate.
The dyno and engine management software that Chris and Anthony have access to will allow us to tailor how the car's ECU delivers the power, giving us peak performance over our quarter-mile race.
Too far?
Over a little bit.
Well, that's if we ever manage to get it into position.
You've done this before, Chris?
Not for camera.
Oh, looks good set up, doesn't it? Oh, you must be Anthony. How are you, bud? Good to see you.
Hey, mate.
Right, time for us to see how many stubbies we've added to the six-pack that is our engine.
All right, so let's get it run up.
Perfect. Let's do it.
We're measuring the car's horsepower at the rear wheel, so we need to account for what's being lost through the drivetrain.
Come on.
A good rule of thumb is to add on an additional 30% to whatever figure the dyno gives us. So anything over 300 here, and we're bonza.
That's a bit of a worry. But it's 265. We've clearly got some work to do. This is a disaster.
We're in the last few hours of engine tuning time with our XR8 before we need to head to the track.
And having just discovered it's now putting out less horsepower than when it rolled out the factory, I'm starting to think our plan's in the dunny. Well, mate, that 265, I find that a bit of a worry. We've gone backwards somehow.
No, don't worry. I mean, look, first of all, that's a figure that's been read at the rear wheels, not at the flywheel, so it's going to be less. But also, it doesn't really matter at this point. That's a bunch of new bits in our engine with the old maps. The real magic will come when we get a new map to tie up all those bits together.
Listen to you. You're just going to geek out over all this stuff. Yet there is an instant way to get more horsepower and make this car go faster, and it's so easy.
And you're only telling me this now?
Yeah.
What is it?
Go faster stripes. No, seriously, look at every single race car in the shop. They've got go faster stripes on them. And it's an instant hike in horsepower.
It's true.
We actually make the stickers here.
Sorry?
We make stickers here as well. So where you come in the shop with me this morning,
Yeah.
I've got a sign writer down there, and he can cut you some GT stripes.
Are you kidding? Seriously?
Get some.
Perfect.
We need everything we can get.
Instant horsepower.
You geek out here, I'm going to go and get some stripes. Seriously.
Perfect.
We'll adjust the timing, a bit more fuel.
How you doing?
Hey Mike, how you going?
I'm all right, yeah, not bad at all. What's your name?
Neil.
Neil, nice to meet you.
Same.
Right, this is where the magic happens,
It is.
it?
So, what we can do is we'll get some stripes on the car and see what it looks like. So there we go, there's some stripes that are on the car.
Just as quickly as that?
That's how easy it is, just a click of a button.
That's 20 horsepower. That's
Exactly.
it. That's where I'm going to get those gains.
Exactly.
And that's going to look fantastic on the car. How do you get it from a computer onto a car?
So we've got this machine which is behind us.
OK, simple as that.
So here we go, it's cutting out now, Mike.
I like this machine. This is nice. Hello. I pressed something. Have I turned it off? Sorry about that.
It's just got little sensors, so when the...
Don't touch it, Mike.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch the machine. I've learnt that, Neil. Fingers crossed, Elvis is having more luck with technology than I am.
It's not really about maximum speed, it's about the launch from the traffic lights, isn't it?
Yes,
It's
that's
about
exactly right.
putting a smile on your face. This is pretty much it. We've tweaked about as much as we can and got everything out of this, and this is going to be the run that tells us exactly what number we end up with. All right, boys, should we give it a go?
Anthony and I have adjusted the engine timing to work perfectly with our uprated camshafts, tweaked the quantity and delivery of the fuel and air mixture into the cylinders so we get more bang from our intake kit, and finally fine-tuned how power's delivered to maximise torque off the line. But will it be enough?
That's more like it.
When you factor in those losses for measuring at the rear wheels, I reckon that figure of just over 300 brake horsepower at the engine gives us a fighting chance.
Love that. Nice one, mate.
Thank you.
Our week with the XR8 has taught us there's no gain without pain.
We've got to find another way, without spending that amount of money, to generate a lot more power out of this car.
Correct.
So whilst I was forced to think outside the box to pack in some more ponies,
That's the first of our 4 brand new camshafts in position.
I lined us up the perfect opponent. You are willing to let me have a run in your car against a Ford Falcon?
As long as you beat it.
and now we're ready for the ultimate showdown.
We bought the XR8 for $21,000, which didn't leave us a lot of headroom for upgrades. But thanks to some cost-effective wizardry from Elvis and a little design brilliance from me, we've pumped up the power. In total, the car owes us $27,200, or just over £14,500. But have we done enough to beat its biggest rival and impress a potential buyer? To find out, we've come to the awesome Mount Panorama circuit to pitch these 2 greats of the Australian automotive world head to head. I know you've been to more or less every race circuit on the planet, but I don't think you've been to this one.
This is a new one for me.
Right. The circuit is astonishing, and it's bonkers that you can just drive out onto it because it's just a normal road.
Yeah, what's weird about it is it's a road that doesn't go anywhere. It's just a racetrack.
Yes,
but they allow
yeah.
you to come on and
Yeah,
do
well-
a very slow lap.
Well, people live here. Up there's a driveway. Look, somebody's driveway.
Isn't it
To
strange?
their house. That's why it's open as a public road. Not today, though. Look at this.
There is my car, all lined up, ready for me. Look, got my helmet on board as well. That looks great, doesn't it?
It really does.
That does look quick, doesn't it? This is the famous Conrod Straight. You can see 2 flags at the end.
Yeah.
That's a quarter mile. Who gets there first is the winner.
Let's do it.
He's folded his mirrors in.
Thanks to our upgrades, we reckon the XR8 now has enough horsepower
Right, here we go.
to compete in the same ballpark as the Holden.
Oh, this looks good.
There's definitely a little sense of nervousness here.
Let's start my car up, see what it sounds like. Oh, this sounds good, doesn't it? For more than 6 decades, Ford and Holden have battled it out on this very straight.
In one of the planet's greatest sporting rivalries.
To date, the Lion has more victories than the Blue Oval.
So, have we done enough to help turn the tide?
It all comes down to this.